This morning, we are catching up with Cazzie David, actress, director, New York Times bestselling writer.
She is now out with her second book of essays. It's called Delusions, of grandeur, of romance, of progress.
So in the book, Cazzie shares personal stories, reflections leading up to her 30th birthday. And so we thought now would be a good time as any to talk to Cazzie about the book. Why? What was it about turning 30 that prompted this book?
Well, the essays are between my 29th and my 30th birthday, and it's kind of an age where you have to make these hard, life-defining decisions. And because of that, I kind of developed this, somewhat paralyzing fear of being in charge of my own fate.
Right.
Adulting.
Sure. But it was more like... realizing I'm in charge, like me, a stupid person.
Yeah, should we be in charge of all these decisions?
Maybe you should, but I don't trust me
No.
to be in charge of the path of my life.
It's a lot.
It really freaked me out.
You write about anxiety, you write about social media, you write about romance. What do you want people who read the book to take away from it?
I think there's a lot of things that are relatable in the book. I would say it's also a very anti-advice book. And so, a lot of it is about how the advice economy has kind of become this cover for the attention economy online. And so people are making content, giving you advice in order to just make more videos or whatnot. So they're kind of telling us, how to live, anything from how to make your morning coffee to what person you should end up with.
And a lot of those people aren't remotely qualified to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I shouldn't be listening to all that.
And as an impressionable person, I listen to a lot of it. So I'd like it to stop.
Has it worked out for you?
No, I'm really trying to remember when I'm online, if I see a video that's eat 3 kiwis a day to whatever, I have to remember that guy isn't really a proponent of eating 3 kiwis a day. He's a proponent of making a video about eating 3 kiwis a day.
Watch it.
Yeah.
That's important.
How would you say writing this book is different than when you wrote your first book?
I would say I had to forget the pain of writing the first book in order to even consider doing it again. There's this thing called childbirth amnesia that happens after you give birth. It's some kind of scientific, biological...
Because otherwise you'd never do it again.
Yes, otherwise you would never do it again. So that's kind of what happened with this. And I think when I set out to do it again, after I obviously forgot how bad the process was, I just wanted to make sure it was a little bit better than the first one. Because if it was too much better, you would really see how unevolved I once was. And so I kind of wanted to really toe the line there.
So coming here to get ready to promote the book, did you ask your dad, Larry David, for any advice about coming on?
I asked him specifically about this show, and he was like, "Oh, just make fun of Al Roker."
You guys use that advice.
Yes, great advice.
I'm not gonna do that.
Good for you, Cazzie. Take the high road.
It's hard to come in strong with that. Yeah.
This guy? I'm gonna make fun of this guy?
No. But plus, he's killed a man too.
Well, but we don't talk about that.
But
he did deserve it.
No, I would never make fun of you, Al.
Oh, well, thank you. As far as getting any advice as going out and how open you should have been about the book, did anybody give you any advice about that?
I think if anyone knew what I was really writing, their advice would be to stop and to not write it. I think that's part of writing a book, is that when you're working on it, if you thought about the fact that anyone would read it, you would never write it in the first place.
But I love your take on things, and I love how you tell these essays. So if we could get your take on thoughts on leaving home at night. Why do you think that's just a bad idea?
Yeah, I wrote that I don't think anyone should leave at night. I feel like God's intentions were really clear with sunlight, and only predators should be leaving the house at night.
Okay.
I love that.
Well, it's pitch black outside.
Right. Why are people...
There are street lights.
We should all be tucked away in home.
Yes.
And when the sun comes up, we can...
That's when we emerge.
It's very cozy. I like that. I like
Cazzie,
that.
thank you.
Thanks so much. The book, Delusions of Grandeur, Romance, of Progress, is out now. Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.